The gloves are off, everybody. Joe Buttons and DJ Akademiks is punching each other in the mouth. Not really, allegedly. Joe Budden declares war on DJ Akademiks.
The Joe Budden and DJ Akademiks beef has officially begun, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Joe Budden is now dissing DJ Akademiks after that Complex list came out. Joe and Ak has been throwing jazz back and forth, primarily on Joe end though. Like, Joe has been the initiator of all the slight, passive-aggressive back and forths.
Like just last week, he started talking about Akademiks and everything he had going on with Stake. While Joe is still sponsored by gambling companies, it's a bit hypocritical, but that's not unusual in the internet landscape.
People, then it's a big deal.
See, that's my point. Like,
you don't see it as misleading.
Yeah, I don't see it as misleading.
I say I could be a little. I watch Akademiks do. I watch him do hours of commentary about hip hop in front of a Stake screen, in front of a Stake poker table, right, pretending to. I don't know if it's pretending, but seeming like he's gambling his money. You can't do that.
Is it confirmed that he's not gambling your money?
I don't know any of that, but that's for their investigation. But that's why they're saying, we've investigated. Nobody's saying that they're connected to this company. So if we find out that there's a link somewhere and that they giving you money to do certain things, you're done so. I think that makes all the sense in the world.
But you're saying the Stake table and a Stake little logo at the bottom of the screen and all of that other stuff, that doesn't say advertisement, Doc?
I think that does, clearly. I think that's more than enough, but Joe doesn't feel that way.
Or that doesn't say this is an ad?
Yeah, but now when you turn around, because what they're speaking to is when they turn around and post their slips, and it's like, I wagered this amount, and I won this. But if you didn't really wager that amount, because you're giving...
They might have got promo funds or whatever the case may be.
Akademiks did not like that at all. Ak did not like that. Ak was severely annoyed, right? And the reason why Ak was annoyed, because Akademiks felt like Joe Budden was kind of like throwing shade and hiding his hand, and Ak felt like the hand that he was throwing was not all the way clean. Ak got spicy with Joe. Ak brought the fact that Joe had the Prize Pick contract. Prize Picks.
That's what it was, Prize Pick. So yeah, Joe's still supported by Prize Picks. Yeah, he talking shit about Akademiks and Stake.
Right? I think part of the deal was like Joe and them would do like where they will pick certain odds and certain bets like during the show. Like at the end of every show, they will pick, like who they believe will go up and under in terms of points or touchdowns or whatever. Now, do I feel like Joe and them, every time they did that, actually went to the Prize Pick app and put a bet on certain dudes? I don't, right? It's all a part of the hustle. So I can say, hold on, bro, if you got the Prize Pick hustle, why are you trying to make me look crazy to your audience for me being signed to sit out, gang? We're not about to.
Because everybody on the internet is a hypocrite. We see it time and time again. Coke and Pepsi, however you want to put it. Everybody says one thing and does something else. It's all wrestling, if you ask me.
Your hair ain't got to be all the way clean. Like, what I took from it was just that he was basically saying gambling is like infiltrating hip-hop commentary. And I'm like, bro, y'all biggest sponsors, you went to the Super Bowl for Prize Picks. Like, are we serious? Prize Picks is not even allowed to be. It's quasi-gambling. Like, if anything, Prize Picks, like, is doing more loopholes than anybody. Prize Picks, even in Jersey, not even allowed for certain, only allowed for one thing. So it's like, bruv, I can't talk with these about nothing like that. You know what I mean? Not. I think right after he said that, he did a Prize Picks ad. I couldn't believe it, bro. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is getting out of hand, bro. This is getting out of hand. I love Joe though. What's our favorite?
He ain't talking about him. He talking about you. That's how Joe said it. We ain't talking about me.
Part of the show. I'm like, yo, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Prize Picks.
I'm sure they're probably friends in real life, but it's passive aggressiveness back and forth. Even Akademiks is dissing Joe Budden co-host because Ak felt like Joe was allowing the co-host to diss him. And Ak went on, I'm talking about a crazy cook of the Mona chick who be on the Joe Budden podcast. Akademiks made fun of her stroke and all type of things because, again, she unprovokingly came for Akademiks.
And Joe ain't say nothing about it. He was just like, let her go. Which also I always find weird. Like, I'm not one of those people that if I have problems with someone, I expect other people to carry on my beef. You understand what I mean? Like, I'm sure Akademiks probably felt like, yo, Joe, why you ain't stop her? She's speaking her mind. She's no threat to you. It ain't like she going around your house and I'm letting her firebomb you or Mazel Tov cocktail or something. You just like, yo, you know, she's speaking. We're in the business of speech.
And then even past that, because I don't feel like Joe even cared about like the Mona thing. Akademiks, when he was doing, you know, like the right, Akademiks went off on Joe Budden, Charlamagne the Guy, and others because he felt like they were trying to position themselves as insiders for Iceman, right? And fake leak information they thought they were leaking when Drake doesn't communicate with them, and they essentially had no information whatsoever. So Ak felt like they were kind of just throwing things out there that they heard about Iceman, trying to position themselves as insiders to kind of take away from what Ak was doing. And when Joe heard that, Joe came back on his podcast and asked Akademiks if he want beef and smoke.
And at one, DJ Akademiks.
Ak, what up?
What up, Ak?
Ak, what up, bro?
Right. Salute. Congrats.
Ak, I hear your little streams. One war. Hey, what's up? You try to turn?
What? I hear your little streams. You know how that go. I hear your little stream, a little thing you got going on.
I got to call my man to see what's going on.
I didn't know what went wrong.
This one he actually called him, and they said and Ak said it wasn't nothing.
I mean, I feel like all the people that was on Drake's side is just time for them to get the Iceman coming. So I'm not really. Yeah. I feel like that's what it is.
You think you just collateral damage?
Nah, but I was on the other side of this, and then we had the state conversation that he replied to. I don't know. I just got to call my man, see what's going on. But 1 and 2, 2 and 1, tomato. Again, the same. What he wants to do, step it up out there.
Shout out to everybody on the list, man.
Word, shout out to the list.
Ak, congrats on number 1. You guys, congrats on number 2.
Salute.
The rest of you work harder.
Queen's Flip called it out. Queen Flip told Joe, hey, man, I've been hearing some things. You know, hey, bro, I've been hearing. You think if Queen's Flip heard Akademiks throwing shots or dissing before this podcast that he didn't tell Joe? You think Queen's Flip heard that and then, you know, his first time bringing it up was on the podcast? Absolutely not. They've been discussing this. They've been talking about this. Joe feel away. Ak feel away. All right. Now, I feel like for Ak, he kind of feels like, you know, it's a part of the game. And for the most part, Ak has been responding. Ak has not been the aggressor. Ak has been responding. So for Joe to be the initiator and the aggressor of most of these things, and then when Ak responds, he tell Ak, hey, Ak, you sure you want war, bro? Hey, Ak, getting froggy, bro. Hey, Ak, you sure you get? Hey, bro, you sure? That's Joe still trying to big dog Ak. That's Joe trying to assert his dominance and kind of let Ak know, hey, bro, you won't win this. And to say that and to have those sentiments in the middle of a conversation of y'all talking about Akademiks being named as the number 1 hip hop personality and Joe being named number 2, to me is shady.
And I mean, Joe was probably irked a little bit. He couldn't help himself.
Passive aggressive, right? Right after you say, hey, Ak just got number 1. Then you say, hey, Ak, you been getting froggy, bro. You sure you want to smoke? That's crazy. I'm sorry. I'm not instigating, bro. That's crazy. That's absurd. That's insane. It's insane. And then even the tomato comment. Number 1 and number 2 ain't tomato and tomato. Number 1
is number
1.
Is
Wagyu. Number 2 is hamburger helper. I'm sorry, homie. That's just, I ain't create the rules.
No, it's not. It's like Angus.
It ain't the same. Number 1, you are on the throne. Number 2, again, number 1 is you are on the throne. Number 2,
you're a major player.
You are first you are still in the crowd. You just got
you the top loser.
Front row seat to the crown. That's it. Number 1, you're sitting on top of the throne of hip hop. Number 2, you got front row seats to the crown. You still a part of the other folks. It ain't tomato, bro. No. There ain't no seat next to the throne for number 2, bro. Straight up. I'm sorry. Now, this was one of the biggest weeks for Akademiks. Akademiks was part of the Drake rollout. He made the album. He on a private jet to Toronto, met Drake, got an OVO chain. This was
what basically means that he chose the right team. There's a lot of people that jump ship that wish they could come back around. Like if you ask me, I think Rick Ross mad because he flipped for no reason whatsoever and he want to come back around. So he's standing around hating, making all kind of posts and talking all that. When just last week he tried to get back friends with Drake because he knew that Iceman was coming. Pause.
This Iceman drop was probably just as big for Akademiks as it was for Drake.
Because he was in the mix.
You know what?
Yeah, Ak got picked up. He jumped on a jet. Yeah, I saw him on X.
Joe did, instead of congratulating, showing crazy love, Joe hops on a Twitter space and disrespects Akademiks to the fullest. This is probably the most disrespectful thing anybody could say about the number one hip hop media personality, about somebody who has dedicated their livelihood and their life to covering the culture and covering music. For the last 15 years of Akademiks' life has been doing music reviews and covering hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what Joe had to say about the number one media personality.
It's a niche. If you're talking about the like hip hop has changed to the point where Akademiks' version of what hip hop is maybe.
But you just talking about rappers, Danny. I'm talking about how it started, when it started, why it was started, what it looked like in every phase of it. I'm talking about hip hop as a whole, and Ak really probably doesn't know much about that.
And I don't think people know about what it is now, this phase. And I think all of it is history of it, but.
You saying Akaposa? He don't really know what he talking about?
Fair.
Yeah. So, to me, don't be surprised if people look at B. like Ak. And I think they just don't have a platform like the rest of the old heads do.
And I think
Danny, you got to beat up
No, I don't.
because of the resume. I get it.
I'm pretty sure B. has more information about Drake and Jay-Z's situation than an Akademiks.
No.
Yes.
No.
You thought Kanye was going to be on this album, Black King. Stop talking.
Most definitely.
Crazy.
No.
Yeah, I said a few people was going to be on the album. I even thought that Drake would.
If Ye would have made the album, that would have been quite interesting. Even if the song was whack, I wanted to hear that.
Piece it up with Jay-Z and he would possibly be on the album. I didn't know it was that deep.
I think B.
Sorry, they've been through this before.
I think when it comes to news, Akademiks is pretty high. But
they know he is.
And B. is kind of.
No. I agree with that. I'm saying B. has a lot of other information when it comes to hip hop that I don't think that Akademiks has. That's a fact.
I mean, he do be on Spotify Green Room. But anybody.
I was going to circle it back to the point.
Danny so shady.
That's a big deal.
The criticism of saying that somebody's not a hip hop fan, they're just a blank insert whatever artist fan, that isn't to negate the information they know about hip hop. It's to say that their love of one specific artist will never usurp their knowledge or critique of other sides of hip hop.
I think that's B. Elliott fall into that. I think they're just older versions of Ak who like Drake. Anyway, I thought somebody had their hand up. I don't know. I mean, she knows.
The full context of this conversation was Akademiks being at the forefront of hip hop media and being knowledgeable. Joe came off his mic, and this was the only time Joe was off his mic during this conversation, where Joe came off his mic to say, listen, Akademiks doesn't know much about hip hop. He's not that knowledgeable about the history of hip hop, about music.
Right, just dismissing him. Like, I mean, he sort of used to do that at Everyday Struggle. Like, yo, you just a little nigga. You don't know. You just came in this. I have a gold record. Well, I think it's platinum now.
In general, Akademiks is a fan of Drake. That's it. And to me, to pick this time in this climate to say that, it feels like I don't know. It feels like Joe is going out of his way to discredit Akademiks because he's salty about Akademiks being named the number one hip hop media personality. That's just
right. Because Joe's like, I am hip hop. Who is this nigga? That's supposed to be my homie too at the same time a little bit, but not really. Frenemies, they used to call him.
Me though. Now, a lot of y'all might agree with Joe, but nonetheless, again, I don't agree with Joe. I do think Akademiks is knowledgeable on music and hip hop.
Some of it, new stuff.
But even if you agree with Joe, you have to agree that Joe, being Akademiks' friend, should not be saying that publicly, especially if covering music and having a voice and being credible is Akademiks' livelihood.
Right.
Why would
address his game? Why would you take away from, it's like calling the NBA player like, yeah, he sucks, he ain't got no jump shot, he can't go left. And you like, nigga, I'm out here, what team you on, nigga? Who you work for?
Who as Akademiks' friend want to interfere with that? To me, that's not cool. Like at all whatsoever. That's not cool. And I think the fans kind of understand that too, because the entire like reaction is, you can see people say, listen, bruh. No, now they're discrediting the number one person in hip hop media because he's a Drake fan.
Right.
Joe is good at being a fake friend. People like spotted it. I personally think, bruh, the Akademiks and Joe Budden beef and Cold War is on us. If I'm Akademiks, peep all the slick jabs and slick shots. For Joe to say this in a moment where you're having your biggest moment, hey, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is
who you with, Joe?